As recent events have proven, there are 100 ways to end up addicted to opioids, out of options and on the street. There are only a few options to make your way back. Hello again and welcome to the County Seat. I'm Chad Booth. While recent episodes of our show have addressed the growing concern of opioid addiction and the ways we are combating it, we have not recently looked at how to recover from it. Today we shall take such a journey as we explore one county's effort to give convicted addicts their day in court, a special court. So let's find out a bit about it right now in the basics.
Overcoming addiction can be tough. One of the tools that local governments use to help people overcome their addictions is drug court. What is drug court? Drug court is a problem-solving court that provides an alternative sentence to long-term jail and/or prison time. This alternative sentence includes long-term substance abuse treatment and supervision. Drug court takes a public health approach using a team of people dedicated to the long-term recovery of each drug court participant. This dedicated team includes mental health and substance abuse professionals, law enforcement, peer support, prosecution and defense attorneys, social services, and a judge. Each drug court is state certified and each member of the team attends multiple training sessions each year. Drug courts in Utah have been around for over 20 years. Drug court was created to combat the rising number of drug-related crimes in all of our communities. In recent years, arrests for drug court-related crimes have more than doubled, and the same offenders are appearing in the same court system over and over. The traditional approach of jail time and heavy fines was not addressing the problem of addiction, which is often at the root of the criminal behavior. Drug court works by recognizing that unless the substance abuse ends, the criminal behavior will continue. Throughout frequent drug testing, treatment, supervision, and weekly court dates, the drug court participant is given not only the tools to succeed and maintain sobriety, but also the support to stop the criminal behavior and stay sober. While the team and the court are with the participant every step of the way, drug court is still a voluntary program and takes a lot of dedication and commitment on the part of the participant for the program to work successfully. Each drug court participant must be dedicated to starting to live their life sober and on the right side of the law. Now that you have a basic understanding of what a drug court is, we will pick up the discussion how the drug court system in Summit County works when we return. For the Summit County Sheriff's Office, I am Felicia Sotelo.
There are meetings, and then there are gatherings. At the Davis Conference Center, we know the difference. Turn your event into something more than just another business summit. With over 70,000 square feet of flexible meeting space, state-of-the-art presentation amenities, and inspiring architecture, the Davis Conference Center is designed to deliver stellar results in a majestic setting. Take your convention to the next level. Schedule now at davisconferencecenter.com.
This is what adventure looks like, and here's what it sounds like. Southwest Utah's Iron County offers some of the most iconic trails within the state that include 200 miles of new trails to be discovered. Check out ironcounty.net for info and interactive maps for your complete guide to off-roading. Explore countless miles of trails in the heart of Dixie National Forest, the gateway to Utah National Parks, Iron County.
For the last 4 years, Bruce Cutler has fought for Murray, Midvale, and Sandy. As an 8-year veteran of the Murray School Board, he understands the impact the state can have on local education. With a career background in technology and software, he has helped make it easier to get online with the state and is a champion of the homeless. Find out more at electbrucecutler.org.
I'm Bruce Cutler, and I ask for your support to continue to serve Murray, Midvale, and Sandy as your state legislator. Oh, and by the way, I approved this ad.
All local products have a story of magical places, real people, and delicious recipes spanning generations. So go ahead and discover flavors you've never tasted and friends you never knew you had. Utah's own Discover Local Food.
Welcome back to the County Seat. Our conversation today about drug court in Summit County and a program that they have in place up there that actually has a pretty good track record of graduates. Joining us for the conversation, Councilman Roger Armstrong from the Summit County Council, and John Evans, who is a detective for the Summit County Sheriff's Department. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
We have a fair number of graduates that come out of this program. Compared to some of the big cities that have drug court programs, 25 graduates a year may not seem like that much. How is that as an impact for Summit County?
I think on the criminal element it's big because there has been a program for many years that kind of helped with the addiction process and gave them the tools to stay sober while they're out of the system. And it progresses as the drug court goes, as it teaches them how to stay sober and what avenues to go down if they have a chance to relapse or thinking of relapsing. Is relapsing actually ever, does that happen or in the process of the court? We hope it doesn't, but in the drug court process it's built in because it does happen, and it happens usually the first couple of months, the first 2 or 3 phases, but the program is built around relapse. So it doesn't punish you per se, it makes you go out in the community and kind of give back to the community as you're.
But if you're constantly relapsing, is there a point where you're done with the program and they refer you back to the court?
Of course, if you constantly relapse, you're proven that you're not using the tools you've been given, and the drug court team will decide whether they stay or go. Usually we try not to do that, but it has happened in the past, yes. This is an alternative to a sentence in a traditional jail incarceration environment. I don't like to say alternative, it's a voluntary program, so the person volunteers for it. We sit down with them, me and Deputy Sotelo, and go over the outline of what the drug court's about with the defense attorney and the prosecutor, and they decide if they want to do it. So it's 100% voluntary. We don't force it. It's based upon the client themselves. So there's a component within this program that the participants themselves have to come up with, what, like $550 a month to be in they actually have to pay to be in the program. Does that skin in the game, do you think that really makes a difference?
I think skin in the game makes a huge difference. I mean, if you look at what we're trying to do is we're trying to take some of the pressure off of our jails. The jails are the worst place to try and rehabilitate people that are addicted to drugs or alcohol. So this is an opportunity for them to take responsibility for their own recovery, because that's what this is about. It takes some of the pressure off, some of the financial pressure off our jail system, and it allows them to find a path to success. You were asking about relapse. In any kind of an addiction recovery system, relapse is part of that. There are people that may go through programs 1, 2, or 3 times and they relapse. The 4th time may be the time that they finally recover. It's all part of the process. And I think if you look at what we're dealing with here, if you want to view it as a matter of personal responsibility, then I think it's a system that's largely set up to fail. If your view is people shouldn't be using drugs, and if they're using drugs, we should lock them up, you're not giving the benefit to the community of getting people out of the system, and you're not giving benefit to the offenders to give them an opportunity to get well. If you look at it from a disease model, which I think is the greater trend these days, this is an opportunity to treat a disease. We wouldn't take somebody who was failing to take their insulin or eating foods that they shouldn't eat if they've got diabetes and punish them for that. We try to get them well. That's how we approach that particular disease. This is just another form of disease. And the jail system is exactly the wrong place to treat disease. It's better to treat it on the outside through programs that are designed to do that.
But obviously, if somebody's addicted and they're involved in illicit drug activity that's against the law, it does, the threat of it becomes a lever to try and help them want to improve themselves. Mm-hmm. So the regular process does have a place in the whole system, does it not?
I think it does, but I think if you look at it on, there's a spectrum. There's, the person that's out there who's dealing drugs, they're using firearms in the course of that particular business that they're running. They're selling drugs or using drugs, and they're doing other things illegal. I think those people probably don't qualify for this kind of a program.
No.
They're automatically disqualified. But we have so many more. We live in a community where we've got world-class athletes, want to be world-class athletes, and people that admire world-class athletes and want to recreate like they do. Then we've got tourists coming in for those narrow terms that they're here to ski hard and hike hard and play hard. They get hurt. They have surgeries. They're prescribed pain medications for those surgeries, and for some of those people, those pain medications are the route in. Do we punish them when the pain medications, they become addicted? The doctor no longer wants to write a prescription for the pain meds. They're so addicted they've got to get it someplace else, and they slide into heroin, especially those at the lower economic scale that cannot find another substitute for that or may not have access to health care to do that. Do we punish those people, or do we provide them with a rope to allow them to get out? And keep in mind, this is not, our particular program may or may not be replicated at other places. And I think that part of what makes our program work are the deputies that we have working in it. John is unbelievable. Felicia is unbelievable. They go so far above and beyond just the simple requirements of the job to assist people. I mean, frankly, is probably the best way to characterize it, to assist them in their own recovery. It's not that they're allowing them to not take responsibility, but they monitor them very closely. So the opportunities that they have to not complete it are reduced substantially, and the opportunities to actually do well are increased. And it's remarkable, the relationships that these two form with the people that they're working with goes beyond a law enforcement officer and an offender. It's I think, a very special relationship, and I'm not sure that happens every place.
Go ahead.
So what we do is we have 68 people not in drug court, 25 people in drug court. We talk to those people every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There's heavy accountability. If they do something, we get them in front of the judge pretty quick. We can call a judge at any time, day or night. They'll answer and respond accordingly. But it's just the accountability part. They know we're there. They know we're listening. We also assist them and help them get in housing. We've made relationships with some businesses up there in Park City that will give anybody an interview we send their way if they have an opening. And so we've kind of taken a holistic approach to it to help them through the system, not kind of get them in the vicious cycle of the system.
Roger, I wanted to address something to you. You alluded to it a little bit earlier, that some people see, have this as drugs are bad and people just shouldn't be there. They know better. They should be punished. Was drug court a little bit of a hard sell from a policy and public official standpoint?
Not for us. I think, as a council, we tend to be on that end of the political spectrum that will actually consider programs that have an opportunity to work. We saw early on when they implemented the drug court program, we were seeing successes early on, and it just made sense. The legislature adopted the JRI initiative a while back, and that's an unfunded mandate for the counties. So we're left in a position, we don't have a bed to detox people in a hospital in Summit County. We've had conversations with Intermountain about trying to come up with a bed. We don't have the ability to do that. So they detox people in jail, and that's, again, not such a great place to do it. But as we started to go through the process, and particularly as we started to see the successes, the first drug court graduation that I went to is remarkable. I mean, you see somebody who comes into a program kind of at the end of the line. They're addicted to drugs. They're probably committing crimes to support that drug addiction, and they're out of resources. Suddenly we give them, the choice is incarcerate, put them up for some period of time. The legislature changed some felonies to misdemeanors, so we get to keep those people incarcerated in our jail rather than shipping them off to state prison. So we could do that, I guess. It's money that you don't recoup in any way. You're just supporting them for the term that they're in jail,
Right.
or as they come back in, so it's lost money. Or you can spend the money on trying to rehabilitate them, trying to bring them back as a productive person in society. And it's all part of a mental health effort for us as well, where you have to look at this kind of illness as a mental health illness. It's a problem with the brain.
Okay, gentlemen, we've got a couple of minutes left. I would like that most important thought, or the most important thing that each of you thinks people should know that we haven't covered in this conversation. What is the one thing, John, that you would like people to know?
Addicts are people too. They put their pants on the same way we do in the morning, one leg at a time. Give them a chance. You know, I've seen them change their lives. I've seen numerous people change their lives. Just give them a chance.
Do they make good employees?
They make awesome employees.
More motivated than, say, some of their other contemporaries?
When you got a jail sentence hanging over your head, you're very motivated.
Roger, your last thoughts?
I think the same. I think it's, understanding we are in a crisis in America right now when it comes to addiction. And we have to find various ways to deal with that are probably non-traditional, and it requires us to change our thinking a little bit, to view the people that are addicted as human beings, and to try and find solutions that work both for society and for those people that are dealing with addiction. And I think that this is a very important component for doing it, and I admire John and Felicia and everybody else that is actually willing to step in and do the work on the ground to make this happen. It takes a lot of resources to make it work. I do believe it's saving us money, and I do believe it's keeping people out of the system and providing them with a way to recover that's more appropriate for that than in a traditional incarceration system.
Gentlemen, thank you for taking the time. This has been very, very informative. Thank you for your passion, your commitment to this whole project. And we'll be back. We'll take a personal look at one of the success stories of the Summit County program when we return on the County Seat. We'll be right back.
Crisp, colorful, a world in transition. You don't have to travel the back roads of Maine to explore autumn in all of its glory. Beaver County offers fall in unique splendor, with drives along forgotten canyons and hikes through meadows exploding with vibrant hues of red and yellow. Hit the road with your family and discover a side of Beaver County you never knew you were missing. Autumn is fleeting, so don't hesitate. Beaver County, it's time to experience the real Utah.
149 million years in the making, dinosaurs once roamed this land. Now they're found at the Dinosaur National Monument. Let's take you beyond the bones. We call it Dinosaur Land. You'll find it offers adventures and sights not seen anywhere else in the world. Come to Dinosaur Land, Vernal, Utah. You'll want to stay forever. The dinosaurs did.
Mountains to explore. Adventure to be had. A town to fall in love with. Yes, all that in Park City, Utah. Start planning your fall adventure at visitparkcity.com.
The Utah Farm Bureau began as a collection of farmers supporting each other to raise the food we enjoy. Today, Farm Bureau membership encompasses everyone, whether ranchers, growers, or just everyday folks like you and me. Members enjoy discounts on items like vehicles and ATVs, or insurance that's very affordable. You don't have to be a farmer to join, and dues are small, but together we make a big difference in keeping our food supply local and abundant. Join Utah Farm Bureau.
Welcome back to the County Seat. We have been looking at the war on opioids, and more explicitly, the battle for recovery. Putting people behind bars proves to be not as effective as putting people into a program monitored by the court. Well, as we've learned, it's not instantly a success, and it has not worked for everyone. When it does work, it is a game changer and a lifesaver. We'll find out about that this week on the ground.
My name is Katie. I'm a mom of 3, Ethan, Abby, and Annie. So I was put on pain pills when I was 12 years old. We found out I had no cartilage in my knees. I just went on and on to upper narcotics because I couldn't have surgery until when I was 23. My doctor put me on oxycodone 30s, and after that is when I lost control. I started abusing my pain pills, and then I ended up selling my pain pills for heroin because it was cheaper.
When we lived in the little white house, we had like a little upstairs, and every time we got home, I would come straight there and just go straight upstairs, and I'd had the girls come up with me, and I tried to keep them there and keep them away from them because they're always in the bedroom doing stuff.
I've always had my brother to be there and watch me and play with me and keep me occupied from my mom, and I really didn't like it.
I ended up losing the house, the kids, everything. So my sister set me up. She called a few of the cops that we know in town, and so they were sitting around town when I pulled into town. And I went to jail, and it took her almost a year to tell me that it was her that turned me in. And she was afraid that I was going to be mad at her, but I told her, I said I wasn't mad. Like, she just saved my life. I was offered a program called Drug Court, and I wanted to take it. I wanted help. So at first it was a really hard process. I didn't get to see my kids much. I was always at work or with Drug Court. But then as I progressed, it got easier. It's helped me learn how to live life in society again. I've been at my job for almost 3 years, which is something new for me. You know, I jumped around. We've been in the same house for 2 years, which we went house to house. We have a very stable, happy life, you know, and a lot of it is because of the program I went through in Drug Court to learn how to live life that way and how to stay sober today without using.
My mom's there for us 24/7. Even if she's at work, she's still here with us, and she helps us with her homework. She makes us clean our bedroom now, which is awesome because it's clean.
Now I can like stay caught up with my homework. If I need help, I can just ask her if I need anything like that. She'll help me.
I'm excited for my family because we can only go up. Just moving forward in life in a good, positive way. I'm just excited that I'm here to see them grow, to watch them succeed, help them succeed, and teach them to be the best that they can be. My advice for families, as hard as it is to think that your family member is going to turn on you, the best thing that you can do to help your family is to call the cops, is to turn them in so they can get the help, because if you don't get the help, you will die.
Katie shared with us that she never wanted to be a drug user. She was never seeking a thrill. She is one of the many who just slipped off the edge of a medical regimen and couldn't get back on the path. I'll be right back with some closing thoughts.
What is the future of rural Utah? That is a question I'm asked all the time as the Republican candidate for House District 73. In a government that values the consent of the governed, those answers should come from rural Utah. I've learned more about those issues than I can share with you in 30 seconds. So I invite you to find out where I stand on grazing, roads, jobs, water, and schools on my website, lymanforutah.com. I've paid for this ad so that you can be an informed voter on Election Day. I'm Phil Lyman, Republican for District 73, and I approve this ad.
Utah has a national treasure where winding canyons stretch to the horizon, where nature forms elegant structures, and where iconic monuments of the West stand tall. Visitors around the world come to get a glimpse of southern Utah's legendary landscape and landmarks. Join them and explore San Juan County, Utah's Canyon Country.
There's a little place on a Utah map where I was raised, where my heart's at, where the sagebrush grows wild and high, and the stars come out at night. Oh, there ain't nothing like being raised in the basin with a Ute reservation, skiing starvation, that Duchesne County life.
Welcome back to the county seat. I think that Katie's comment about never wanting to be a drug user or thinking that she had become an addict until it overtook her life is very telling, and I'm afraid not too uncommon. I have had lengthy conversations with my sister-in-law who lives in rural Illinois and is a pharmacist for a small rural hospital. She has seen the devastation caused by this epidemic, with a sharp increase in overdose deaths coming out of communities with populations as small as 800 people, where everyone knows everyone, and most people, even the kids, show up in church every week. You know, these are the kids who've been captain of the football team, worked alongside dad on the farm, baling hay or stacking bags of corn or soybeans. It's the mom who twisted an ankle going into the root cellar, or the grandpa who pinched a nerve and got treated for pain. These are all people who get hurt and get a prescription and can never get off. In most cases, the signs of addiction are there. Someone outside the sphere of addiction almost always knows that they are hooked, especially when the OxyContin has turned to heroin and an honest person has turned to crime to support the habit. Someone usually knows it. And as Katie pointed out, in her case, it was her sister who turned her into the police anonymously. The moral to Katie's story is that she would probably be dead and her kids would be left behind if she had not gotten caught. What seemed to be the act of a traitor, in reality, was the act of a savior. And that is the message to take away from all of this. You see, from my perspective, people who are strongly addicted can only dig themselves in deeper. They can't dig their way out, and they don't want to grab that hand of help until they're off the drug. So someone has to force them off the drug. Often the only thing to do is to make that call and get them into the system and get them off the street and into treatment. Like Katie, more often than not, at the sober end of the tunnel, they are grateful for being turned in. See, it hit particularly close to home 2 years ago when my nephew, who had battled suction addiction, found himself stuck in a cornfield, in his car, high at the time, and in desperation he took his own life. I can't begin to tell you how devastating that loss has been on a close-knit rural family in Illinois. And the hard part is, there was probably someone who knew. I hope that you will take the time to share this half hour with a friend or your family, and we'll see you next week on the County Seat.